Techno Kings.
All right, and we are live. What is up, everybody?
What's up, Steven? Oh, shit. Sorry.
Up. Sounds like the stream audio is working correctly. That's good. The music was not functioning in the waiting room. Sorry, everybody. Wanted to get you all pumped up with that hot EDM tracks.
Dude, Streamlabs has great intro music.
Premiumbeats.com.
Does it do that?
Yeah, for some of them. This is a low budget operation here. We
DJ Khaled. Same.
All right. Well, guys, if you're watching us live right now, give the stream a like. We've been building up the viewership week after week here. Want more guys in the chat joining you. If you are listening to this after the live stream on Spotify or Apple, friendly reminder, we do this live 5 p.m. on Thursdays every week. Come join us, or at least listen or watch the video feed on YouTube or Spotify if you're still audio only on Apple.
Check out those beautiful charts, guys.
Oh man, I had to take a cold shower before I came here. Because,
You're feeling a little bullish,
oh my
sir?
God, I'm starting to think I need to go home and just short things randomly because, whoo, what a week.
Was it ETH price pumping that got you?
Everything is and then today we were teased all week, and then coin earnings after hours today just
Oh baby, those coin earnings. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Happy coin day, everyone. Hopefully everybody in the chat at this point is long coin. If you've been listening to us and you're not long coin yet, I don't know what to tell you.
God, you know what? I was actually I was thinking back. It was almost a year ago to the day. Maybe we were 11 months ago. We were in ETH Denver doing our recording with Ledger, and I think we collectively told Ledger hey, we think that the best way to play crypto is Coinbase. That seems to be working okay.
Coin was good. It's been a good trade. I don't know what your average cost basis is. Mine is sub 50.
God damn, sir.
Feeling good.
Well, I'm
in early and in strong.
I'm only in the leaps, so I feel great about those. It doesn't really matter the entry because I'm just levered to the tits.
I know, and those of you listening know I also hedge the top.
Yeah.
With options, all expired. We're naked long again.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Anyway, Coinbase, for those of you who are not yet aware, just annihilated earnings, smashed, eviscerated expectations. We are up, I think, 15% after hours trading. I think the after hours session is over now, right? But
yeah. After hours ended an hour ago.
What did we tag? We tagged.
I think we went
189.43 in after hours. I mean,
so honestly, this move in after hours is surprising to me because the stock has ripped so hard leading up to earnings. Typically, when a stock goes up by 40% leading up to earnings, you have kind of a muted response, and this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean the stock's been the stock's been ripping. I guess I'll pull up the old Charter-Rooney here. Last episode we talked about how we were approaching the buy zone, and I think I said when things are really bullish, sometimes they just tap the zone and don't give you an entry. And look at that. I mean, we just went boink and then just up only after tapping that 114, 115 level or so.
That magic box you drew, I mean, was fucking crazy how it actually or now it's a magic line.
It was a good box. Well, here, I'll recreate the box for you.
Yeah, and it just literally tagged the top of the box. So I actually want to talk about this because look, man, there's always a best execution, a best way to play something. And I think it's good to talk about some of our misses as well as our hits. On this one, I kind of missed it because the way that I do things typically is selling puts to build a bigger allocation. So once we got into that box that you drew, I was like, okay, here we go. So I was selling puts at 110, 105, 100, 95, 90, just to I'll just buy I'll force buy all these dips. I'll get assigned here. I'll collect my premium. and then it never gave me that chance.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think it's a cool way to illustrate that, like, there's no right way to do this stuff. There's only trade-offs, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I always allocate for sort of like the hybrid strategy, you know, like one of the most common questions we get in the Discord is, I don't own any of this. What do I do? And I've always been a big advocate for just like immediately buying 20 to like 80%, honestly, depending on how much of a good trade that is, you know, but mostly I feel like I usually end up in like the 30% range, and then do like a combination of like DCAing in a particular zone, and then also like limit orders if I get like a good spike to a level I want. Like I don't want to just DCA there. I might want to just kind of lump buy it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good framework to use. So related to this, Robinhood came out with their earnings on Tuesday, and they reported that their crypto trading volumes tripled, while their like equity and options trading volumes were stagnant. And I took that as like an indication that I needed to fucking buy more coin. Mm-hmm. So Coinbase stock was already at 140 at that time. You know, I could have been buying at 115. I fucked up, but I eventually just capitulated, plugged my nose, bought more at that higher price.
Yeah, I added a little bit to my hood position before the pump. This is probably something I probably have like 20% of this, you know. From the time I started adding to it, like realistically speaking, I'm still just so much more bullish like other stuff. I thought this was kind of like an interesting trade, but then there are points where I was like, do I want to buy hood or do I want to like add to Bitcoin miners? And like I was like, I want to add to Bitcoin miners, and those have been better ads than hood. But the hood chart is looking prime, right? Like this is the hood monthly chart, and like if we get like a monthly close, you know, break out above, what is this, about 13.5 or so yeah, this thing's going up.
Let's talk about this real quick, and before we get into coin, really. But I still like Robinhood as well. But you know, why, if Robinhood is seeing growth in their crypto trading only, like why not go with the pure play Coinbase? You know, between the two, I'd take Coinbase all day.
It's just a question of like what's the upside on hood versus what's the upside on coin. I guess it's kind of hard to, like, what do you target on hood? It's basically just been a down only stock its whole life. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The coin chart has some pretty clear targets for me. You know, we like to talk about the old fair value gaps on this show, and you can see that these bearish gaps, we are completely disrespecting them, which means that I expect to disrespect all of them. You know, like the only level I think left that could give you trouble is like, so here you've got basically like a monthly order block, the mid range around like $300 or so. That gave you like the huge move down, right? Like the mega capitulation. So that entire zone is going to be pretty thick. It's a high time frame zone. So it wouldn't shock me if like we pulled back in the, you know, 280 or so. But realistically speaking, like I just think that would just be a dip, and I don't see why we don't take out the 369 high.
Yeah, can I do a little bit of moon math with you on this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do I think this is going?
Yeah, give me because my chart runs out of levels.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna need some
well, like up above that. I think where I'm looking is like, so this business today is like 50% of its revenues come from trading, and 50% of its revenues come from its services business, which is like USDC, ETH staking, etc. Back in 2021, this stock earned $17 per share in earnings. Like it just reported $1 today, $1 per share in earnings.
Damn, 17.
It earned
that was during like bull mania.
Peak bull mania.
That's just all trading fees.
Yeah, because the
didn't even have the services.
The services business didn't even exist in 2021. So that's all trading. And where I'm sitting, I think if this is a real bull market, then we're going to surpass those trading revenues during this cycle, because we have added new validity to crypto at large. I think more people come in, mainstream trading, etc. Also, they have like new trading platforms. They have this like derivatives platform in Europe. So I think that the trading revenues exceed the previous high. And if you just slap on like a 30x multiple, forward earnings multiple on that, let's say they earn $20 a share, we're talking $600 share price. And that's only on the business as it exists right now. This is key. It's only on the business as it exists right now. They're still innovating. Like they're getting into like stable coin payments is something that they mentioned on the earnings call. They have like a VC arm that's invested in 400 different businesses, like crypto ventures, and that could be interesting. They're going to change the accounting treatment of how crypto investments are held on your balance sheet in the next quarter. So previously they had to just write down everything and they couldn't write it back up. They're going to like mark that to market soon.
I saw they were changing doing some like accounting shenanigans. I don't know what it meant, but it sounded bullish.
Yeah. So bottom line is I could see this thing going to $600 just based on the business as it exists today, with like no actual growth, just returning to previous. And I actually think we're going to grow. So,
all right. So Ollie in the chat is asking, when are you trimming coin? But I'm not even thinking about trimming now.
I don't sell. I don't sell coin, bro. I don't sell this.
I don't know. I've always told people this is $1,000 stock.
Yeah. When you said it was $1,000 stock, I was like, no. But now I can easily see the path to 600 based on today, just on the business today. And, if trading revenues grow in this like next bull cycle, then of course I could see 1,000.
600 feels easy to me. It feels easy. Yeah, I like it. Confirms all my biases, so we're going to go with that. Yeah, I'm not touching this thing. Not touching this thing for a while. Certainly not until I've got cap gains on it, which is still a ways to go for me.
So what do you think about adding here? I think a lot of people haven't filled their bag entirely. Like, would you be a buyer tomorrow morning? Because this thing's going to open at 189 or whatever.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, you're definitely buying kind of a no man's land. You're buying at the top of the range basically, and yeah, we could break out. It's an awkward entry. I don't know how I would enter this right now. It's tricky. So I don't have a good answer for you other than like, if you don't own any, you should probably just buy some.
Yeah, I like to think of this like longer term, right? And like by the end of not even this year, but the next year, like I have a lot of confidence that $190 Coinbase.
Where did I say we peaked in after hours?
189.
189. Oh, okay. So we actually already broke this high after hours. Okay. Yeah. I think this is like, I think one of those, you get like a daily close above or like a couple daily closes or something. If you want to be careful, you just long, you just buy more if you dip back in, and you just assume this is breaking out and going for $300, which it looks to me like it wants to do. It's doing the old parabola thing right now. Got a parabola in the making. Love to see it. Just a little old whoop.
Oh yeah.
Up. There we go. That's what it looks like. Love it. But your question about adding, I think, is interesting. Like I was spending a bunch of time the other day trying to help my girlfriend with her investment portfolio, because she's just like sitting in enormous amounts of cash.
She's not like a finance professional.
No. And like, this is like something that happens to a lot of people I talk to, especially like women, because they're not stupid like we are. Like, we're just like,
they don't just YOLO.
We're not just like carne asada Chris. We're like, I call options.
Yeah, I put $250,000 in 0-day call options this morning.
But yeah, not to overgeneralize, but the ladies tend to be a little more cautious, and I've seen that like results in a lot of them sort of like sitting in cash because, well, you can't lose money in cash, but as we know, you're guaranteed losing in cash.
So what'd you say to Amber there? Because you know, when you're just sitting in cash, there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah, so you know, she's got a TradFi account, right? Because from my perspective, the best investment in the world right now, risk adjusted, is still like Ethereum, because you are basically just getting started on this ETF trade, and then you're getting paid like basically like 30 or 40% APY right now with like the freaking airdrops to just sit in there and wait.
Oh, so you're talking about on-chain ETH, like staked.
Because you're basically able to sit in like staked ETH and then like restake that in Eigen, and then if you're following like our degen shit from last week, you're also dropping 2 other layers of yield on that.
Dude, I loved that play from last week. By the way, I'm in on that in a big way. I love
like
that.
There's some interesting sort of derivatives markets on chain right now where you can do really degen stuff. Like you can take your Pendle LP token that we were talking about, because why just be satisfied sitting in the LP token earning 40%? What if you could use that token as collateral and borrow more ETH against it and then do more degenerate stuff?
Wait, hold on. So you're not even talking about PenPy that you described on the episode. You're talking about something more degen.
On last week's episode, we talked about how to get what at the time was 80%, but is now sort of, as we see so often, the yields compressed. But still, when I checked today, it was still like a 39% yield on Pendle in the EtherFi pool. EtherFi is basically like a liquid restaking token,
And you're earning airdrop points or whatever.
Yeah, you're earning airdrop points for Eigen. You're earning airdrop points for EtherFi. You're earning staked ETH yield. You're doing all the things, right? But normally that's it. You deposit your token and you collect the yield and you go on your merry way. But in DeFi, we like the composability. So I was like, I wonder if somebody is like taking this as collateral. And I did some digging, and sure enough, there was like a upstart protocol. Forgot the name of it. It's probably best I don't tell anybody about it. But I was curious. I was like, what is the market demanding for like interest if you want to borrow against this? And it was like 34%.
Ooh.
So that tells me like the fact that people are willing to pay 34% against that position to borrow more ETH, like the market expectation for yield on your ETH right now is probably in the 40s, 50s. Maybe even higher percent for like what's coming down the road.
Okay, so but we're talking about Amber now, and she doesn't have spot ETH that she can go onto the blockchain.
Let's get out of degen land.
Right.
We're talking about just like a broad, what do I do with this cash? Just from a broad macro and retirement plan sort of perspective. And I was thinking about this a lot. And like the first question is like, do I want to buy stocks, right? And how much? And
sure,
for me, I think stocks go up still, but it's not like an attractive thing to me. Like I do think we're melting up, but like, do I think there's like insane value there? Like Nvidia is now the size of the entire Chinese stock market.
Oh my gosh, these like tweets I'm seeing about Nvidia against the entirety of like the energy market or the entire Chinese stock market. It's insane.
Nvidia adds more value per 5 minutes than the entire Roman Empire. It's just like people just keep coming up with these like tweets.
Okay, so in TradFi, you have limited options there. If you like ETHE, is that something that you're interested in?
It's not like even enabled in her account, but I thought about like, okay, maybe that is actually like maybe I could get that enabled or put the money in an account where that is, because I do think that's like a very attractive trade.
Yeah, so ETHE's trading at like a 13% discount to its NAV right now. You get sort of like cheaper ETH. That's compelling.
Problem is though, it's a trade. Like this is like a Roth IRA. Like I want to kind of just put stuff in here and forget about it.
Okay.
And like the more I thought about this, like this is probably not going to be any giant surprise to anybody listening, but I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like Bitcoin is the easiest, most obvious investment that like I've ever seen in my life, like even now at this point, because we thought it was a good investment a long time ago, right? Like last summer, we've been shilling this. Like, we've been basically shilling crypto for like a year and a half now, as like an incredible buy, right? But a year and a half ago, especially, there was a lot of risk involved. A year ago, there was a lot of risk involved.
So much uncertainty. Now we have like
now,
way more
although
clarity.
the price is higher, like we broke 52K on Bitcoin this week. For those of you who are not aware, like huge milestone, back to 50K. Although the price is higher now, like I would argue that the value is even better because it's just been so heavily de-risked. We've seen the ETF happen, play out. We kind of know the future now. We've seen the flows, right? So the flows have just totally changed the narrative in crypto. Like we went in a couple of weeks from everybody freaking out because all this money's flowing out of the Grayscale ETF, and people are, oh my God, 30 billions are going to get dumped on us, and people really went like Max Doomer. We were a little more sanguine about this,
Sure.
and made some good buys at the bottom there. But now like the flows have reversed. I mean, I think we're up to 4 billion in net inflows now. I think we did 600 million the other day. I mean, these Bitcoin ETFs are blowing all expectations out of the water. Best launch of all time for any product. Again, Wall Street is salivating now. Like BlackRock has not even fired up all the salespeople yet. The money has not even really started to come in because all these financial advisors aren't just market buying their clients' portfolios like on day one. They're going to DCA in over many months probably once they start, and most of them haven't even started yet because they wanted to wait and see what happened. We've got like I saw that the banks are just smelling blood in the water because they've been lobbying the SEC recently to make changes to some regulations on how basically like custodying crypto on their balance sheets for their customers, because they're kind of seeing the writing on the wall with like the ETFs and Coinbase. They're basically saying like, hey, I think right now the ETFs are counted as crypto for a lot of these banks, and so they're not really allowed to custody them and it's creating like a huge disadvantage for them. And they see the bullishness. And
you even made the point that like she's not even enabled, her account isn't even enabled to buy it, even though that like it's an asset that exists in TradFi, but she's not able to buy it.
Yeah. So like, I know this is like I hate saying like we're so early, but we are so early still. Like, so incomprehensibly early still, and it's just like you know when you get these moments where you see a trade, and at one point there's like I see the trade, it's over on the horizon, but this is like, the trade is happening. This is like the roller coaster is gone, and it's just starting to go down and accelerate, and you're like, I'm just about to hit the inflection point there.
Okay, so it's pretty clear you like Bitcoin ETF in her portfolio. To what degree are you willing to allocate to the Bitcoin ETF? Are you talking 100% allocation?
Yeah, I know, because she's too risk averse, right? But I was still like, look, this, and I was trying to explain this in terms she could understand too, because she like understands the politics and understands like what's happening.
Yeah, she's a smart girl.
Governments and like what's happening in prices. I'm like, look, like the runway for this trade, like, or we'll call it an investment, like over the next like decade is just nothing but blue skies, green pastures. It's just like everything is set up for this to run on like every level, and it's basically like mathematically ignorant, I think, if you are sub 40 and you don't have like 5%. Like, I like you should slap yourself in the face, I think, if you're sub 40 and you don't have 5%.
No, I agree with you, and I'm fielding a lot of questions recently that are like, okay, so how much Bitcoin should I be owning, like in my retirement accounts? How much? You know, like what's a reasonable cap?
I mean, I own 0 stocks right now, like 0. Like I trade stocks, like it. I did have some. I sold the Carvana today for. I was like I made some good money on it actually, but then I was like, do I want this or do I want like just more Bitcoin? And I was
Well,
just like,
yeah.
I just want more Bitcoin. So I sold it and I just bought.
You're always going to
More
degen
Bitcoin.
a little bit. I know you. You're
I just
always
like
going to
feed
play.
the beast, you know, but
Yeah.
it's like not like a serious thing.
Okay, well, let me throw something else. Like, how about Bitcoin ETF versus Coinbase stock?
I think it's an interesting one, you know. And I was thinking that like basically for somebody like her, like we could kind of simulate a crypto portfolio with just like Bitcoin and Coinbase stock.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking of basically doing like 50-50 Bitcoin Coinbase stock was kind of like where I settled. And then I think by doing that, I could boost the allocation up to like 20% because only 10% of it is in Bitcoin. You can agree to 10%, and then we get like we'll get 20, which I think is good for like a young person. I'm like we're all very bullish on this space, and like we have just turned the corner into the very start of the beginning of the first institutional bull market in crypto, and I think that like we are still all PTSD'd up from the last bear, as we should be, right? But like we always like overcorrect, and we always think the future is going to be like exactly like the recent past, which is why you kind of get these yo-yos, and everybody got burned so badly, and it was so devastating that like people are like, should I take profit on? I don't know. Should I take some off the table on like 55K Bitcoin? I'm like, no. Like we should start thinking about like 200K, 300K.
No, I completely agree with you. And I mentioned this offline before we started recording, but like I like to use Coinbase's revenues that they report as like an indication of where we are in the cycle. So Coinbase just reported their 2023 full year revenue number at $3 billion in revenues. And half of that's not even from trading. Like in 2021, it was 8 billion from just trading. So like, I still feel like if this is like a true bull market, then we're like incredibly early because now we have way more participants who are probably gonna come in and
for
trade.
Sure. And if you like really want to, you know, juice the, you know, like the expectations and, you know, get yourself really like hot and sweaty, like you can kind of look at like what the inflows have been and like what price has done, you know, since the ETF. And obviously this is like fuzzy because like we don't know like what is all inflows versus just kind of like normal activity. But, you know, it's been 4 billion in inflows, and we've added like 100 billion in market cap off those 4 billion in inflows, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, if you cut that in half and, you know, say it's like 12 to 1, and then like we've done we're on a pace now for like a 150 billion in inflows in like the first year. And what you could put like a 12x on that, you're adding like $2 trillion to the market cap of Bitcoin. That throws you up over like 150K Bitcoin, like basically instantly, just from those flows alone.
Yeah. So I get your point. It's like it becomes hard to allocate to like NASDAQ QQQ when we're looking at numbers like this. But then again, like Coinbase stock compared to Bitcoin, I can't see Coinbase lagging just because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Like when crypto market cap is rising, alts are also rising. Coinbase is generating more and more revenue from alt trading. And it's like a good product market fit. Like trading alts, like for everybody in our Discord who are like savvy with the blockchain and like bridging and switching, like it becomes pretty hard to trade alts actually for like a mainstream user. They're going to go choose Coinbase, and like more and more people are going to trade alts. Like Coinbase is going to fucking dominate.
Yeah, I agree. Like they have at least one good, like kind of bull run left of fees. I think longer term it is questionable. Like I have so much conviction in the Bitcoin trade because it's such an easy trade. There's not that many variables, right? And whereas like Coinbase is like an instance where you're like, yeah, well, if you're bullish Bitcoin, you should be bullish Coinbase, right? And the answer is, well, yeah, mostly, but Coinbase has a bunch of other confounding variables, and it becomes like this idea of like, okay, like so if you're trying to put a trade on and this is your idea, like do you want to put it on a proxy for that idea, or do you just want to put the idea on, and if it's not enough for you, just like lever it up or something so that you get your, you know, and that's kind of how I think about it.
And I think you're right, particularly over like a 10-year holding period. Like Bitcoin is one of the easiest set and forgets imaginable.
Yeah, but like as far as like buying stocks right now, like I cannot for the life of me get any math to work out, or I want to own any more than 0 stocks while Bitcoin is like under like 100K. And like the answer realistically is probably like 120, 150K. Like, yeah, maybe you can make an argument for selling some corn and buying some Qs at that point.
Well, I think like a simple way to look at it is like S&P and NASDAQ are currently at all-time highs, and Bitcoin is still quite a ways off of its all-time high. So like if risk assets are going to continue pumping, then there's just way more upside in crypto.
Yeah. And I think that I know that Armand was just texting the group chat today about that new I forget the name of it, that new AI thing that launched where you could do text to video.
Text to video. Wow.
It's pretty breathtaking, and like I'm still pretty bullish on AI in general, and that's why I think stock market is going to keep going higher. Like we are going to probably just go to irrational numbers. I mean, I forgot who said this, but like somebody mentioned that since 2020, it's been 4 years, right?
Damn.
Yeah, 4 years. We've had 2 bear markets.
Yeah.
In 4 years. And like everybody's sitting here in 2024, like we're on the verge of another bear market. It's like, bro, we have 3 bear markets in 4 years?
You tend to get one of these once every 7 years, and we already had 2.
Like, isn't it more likely that we just go 10 years now?
Yeah.
And don't like we just go like full roaring 20s, like run it back a century later.
Yeah, and then we all know how the roaring 20s ended, but like for a while, I think the runway is.
Yeah, well, like we've talked about the really big picture a lot, and like we've all been like kind of an advocate for just embracing the fact that you live in a Ponzi right now, and just try to grab as big of a bag as possible while the getting's good, and then figure out how to protect the bag and get out of Dodge, because like obviously in the long run something probably has to give here.
It's going to break. So hopefully we'll still be doing these episodes as we get into the 2030s.
I'll be doing this episode on my 300-foot yacht.
Yeah, exactly. And by that point, I think we'll have an idea of how to de-risk. But for now, I think you just go risk on. I agree.
Ledger, has there ever been an easier trade risk reward than BTC right now? I don't think so. I think the risk reward is so freaking good. Because I don't know, you could probably just like 2x lever it right now, and you're looking at like a 3 to 6x.
God, so
I think, and then,
you know that I love to play the options game. Like the options aren't available yet on the Bitcoin ETFs. Mm-hmm. It typically takes a few months for those to.
You can buy grayscale options, right?
No.
Oh, so they kind of just.
Yeah, it's none of them. None of them.
Interesting.
But when those launch, I think just like going leap long on those is going to be a nice play.
I like it. Oh, guy can dream. Yeah. Anyway, so back on the AI stuff, I think we're starting to. I mean, we've been talking about this as like a part of the crypto portfolio for a bit.
Right.
I'm still haunted by the episode we did where I postulated on Render a year ago at 20 cents.
I bought 0 of that. I don't like money. Apparently, I bought none of that, and
I bought none either. But I managed to get in like a dollar or something after it went up 5x, and I thought I was late. But we pumped today. We're over $5 on Render. I don't think Render is even the largest
nice call, sir.
AI coin anymore though, because Render we're at 522, and this is just that chart looks pretty good, man. I mean, we're not in price discovery yet. This is just the type of thing you can just see going like just full max stupid.
Yeah,
for sure. But the coin that's been stealing the show lately has been a coin that I've refused to buy since it was shilled to me at $20. It is now $669. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Pain.
No, it's nice to. It's kind of nice at times to talk about our missteps.
Where was this? So I had a buddy shilling this to me in like October. Like right here. Where's that? $53. Sorry, I lied a little bit. Only a paltry like 12x in the last 3 months. But yeah, so Tau hit 669 nice dollars today.
Dude, I would like to think that crypto is more degen than TradFi, but I don't think it actually is. Like in both cases, you can just like buy into narratives in a bull market and just ride those narratives to insanity. And this is, I think, probably a good example of that.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, do I want to buy this coin today? And it is probably sniffing like a $5 billion market cap now. It's not like this is like a low.
It's like
market cap
bigger than
coin at this
Uniswap.
point. Yeah, and I was just like, well, how high can this really go? Like, is it going to do a 20x still? Is it going to go to like 100 billion? Like, is that possible? And kind of this question of like, do I just buy this thing, or do I like look for some other like AI shitcoin?
Go for the
the
next one.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're really active in this space, right, and you're just digging through the dumpster, which is not something I really do anymore, because my brain can't handle just the grind work it takes to find these gems and go in all the discords and do all the vetting. But if you are still grinding, I mean, finding these like AI plays is probably going to be just some of the sickest returns over the next year, because I don't know. I think that gigantic hot ball of money that still exists in TradFi is going to start looking at, stock AI valuations, and at a certain point be like, well, I don't know, what's the entire crypto AI market cap? Like 10 billion, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm severely under. Maybe it's 20 billion. That's like,
oh my God. So you just kind of like open my eyes to this, because
it's a tiny fraction.
No, you're right. Because in TradFi right now, we're seeing this AI bubble, like come on in earnest. Like ARM, for instance, ARM has become kind of like a proxy trade for NVIDIA, just because like off of NVIDIA's success. So ARM is a stock that's probably worth $80 max. And that's if I like fucking really juice up the expectations. It was at 150, a couple days ago. The bubble is severe, it will probably get more severe, but like this thing's trading at 100 times forward earnings, and it fucking grows like a tortoise. Like it is 20 years old, this business. So I think you're right that like you see this bubble forming, and it's just going to manifest itself into other lower market cap plays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you guys know any good AI plays, feel free to throw them at me. The only other AI coin I've owned, other than the shitcoin I bought today, actually, which I will share with you guys a little bit later, and I cannot stress how shitty it is. I know that Fetch is another coin I've owned. Probably should have held on to. I think I owned this I owned this in the freaking spring of this year, around like 24 cents. We're at 65 cents now. I have no idea what Fetch AI does. I just know it has AI in the name.
Just buy the narrative, man.
Yeah, I mean, all these things just look like they're just gonna go up. It's just like it's just that time of the cycle where you just buy whatever and it just goes up. I think, especially if you're in like a good narrative. And yeah, even though this stuff is pumped a lot, I don't know. I do see so much potential because I said it 5 minutes ago, and I'll say it again. Like the collective market cap of all this stuff in crypto is like a not even 1% of like NVIDIA's entire market cap.
Right.
Never mind the market cap of the entire AI industry. So Chris Hildebrand says Ocean's an AI play. I did not know that. Ocean Protocol. It's a classic. Yeah, these all look the same. Just getting ready to moon. What else you get there? OLAS. I don't know what OLAS is. OLAS. Autonolas. I don't know. It's a newer one, huh? Okay. Interesting. Well, you viewers can go and see what the hell that coin does, I guess. I'm not gonna research it live on stream, but looks intriguing. Anyway, anything else you wanted to cover on the sort of macro
No, I think
portfolio allocation side?
no, I think we expressed our insane bullishness quite well.
All right, cool. Well, let's get into the charts.
Yeah, I think like I want to preface you on these charts to say like, okay, so if this is a time to be buying stuff and this is like the Roaring 20s, like what are some things that you're really interested in buying?
Well, the first thing I want to do is like when I'm interested in buying, and like I'm a broken record on this, but I'm gonna keep talking about the dollar because I think if you zoom way out on the dollar, like way out, right?
Where does that goes back to 1990s?
This is going back to 1970.
Oh God.
Yeah, so we're going way back, but this is basically just a ginormous kind of downtrend. And I actually do wonder if we see like, in the 50s on the dollar index again.
Oh my gosh.
If that's where we're heading.
This is crazy because it kind of spits in the face of dollar milkshake theory, does not?
It does. It does. And I'm a man who likes the charts more than the theories. And like when I look at what's happened to the dollar over the years, right? I mean, even that mega spike we had in 2022, what was that? We didn't put in a new high. We just tested this basically gigantic order block that gave us the huge move down. And we've basically started rejecting off of it. Like if you kind of zoom in on the monthly, you see the signs of rejection on the monthly, bearish fair value gap here. First sign that we want to go lower. And then the reason I think we've topped out now, I mean, I called this out in December, right? This monthly fair value gap here. Called out some caution at end of December because I thought we were going to rally into it. And we did like pretty hard right at the end of the year. But I think that I think we're topped on the dollar possibly for a long time. Because I'm seeing us kind of just reject hard from this monthly zone right now, and I'm just expecting it to roll over from here. And we've been pumping as the dollar has been pumping,
right?
So I'm wondering if this thing starts to roll over, if it's just
then we just fucking moon.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year when we rallied hard in the dollar, like we did sell off, but it seems like as it's kind of traded into the zone, the market's almost like gotten ahead of this and been like, all right, this is kind of peaked. So I'm expecting a rollover there. It'd be interesting to see where the weekly closes on the dollar. Like we've basically been kind of swing failing this on the weekly chart. If I clean this up a little bit. You can see how last couple candles. So I'm expecting a weekly close, hopefully, sub like 104.25. That's going to be like an interesting little candle. And then maybe next week we get one more push up and then over. That's what I'm hoping for. So that's kind of my guiding light. It's why I hedged and de-risked, and it's why I'm max long again.
So
right
I guess
now.
like to your prompt, when to buy, I would assume you're saying already or now.
Yeah. I think it's go time. Doesn't mean there's not going to be little hiccups, but like realistically, okay. So Bitcoin chart. Obviously, we just nuked this prior high into the atmosphere, like the reverse nuke straight up. It looks right now. I like okay. So Capo,
God bless him.
God bless Capo. I mean, he's basically drawn this up as Wyckoff distribution. I guess this would be your buying climax and. Up thrust here, and then he's saying this is your sign of weakness, below this low, and that this is the up thrust after distribution, and then you're going to basically get a dump after that. I don't see that happening. Never say never, of course, but like this move is too strong for me. I think realistically, if you're like, okay, where does this kind of end up petering out? Maybe where do you get a little bit of a rejection? So this whole zone here, that kind of was like the last up move before like the big sell off on a really high time frame. Mid range of that, 54K roughly.
So we're nearly there.
Yeah, so we're nearly there. And I think if you pull up a 2-week chart, you've also got a little old, fair value gap there. So would not shock me to see a bit of a pullback there in Bitcoin. But a pullback in Bitcoin doesn't necessarily mean that alts just go down, like, because Bitcoin can easily just kind of pull back and range a little bit here. Alts can go nuts, right? Bitcoin can kind of range sideways here for a bit and then just all-time highs. I think all-time highs are on the table. I think we're going above 70K. I think that's probably happening sooner rather than later. I mean, this move is like insanely.
God, what time frame are you on there?
Because this is a 2-week chart.
Because on the 2-week, there's literally no down candles. Like, is that right?
I mean, we've got 13 2-week candles. We've got one that is technically a down candle, but not really. And then it's so freaking bullish. But as you know, I'm a big believer in Ethereum at the moment, and
always have been.
yeah, ETH's looking pretty good. Here, let me get off the log chart here. Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this level literally for the entire freaking year, but I think it's finally happening now.
Yeah, what level are you drawing out there?
This is the 3,600 or so high. That to me feels like a foregone conclusion at the moment, and we've just been you had some golden opportunities to kind of just buy here as we kind of broke out of this range above 2K and consolidated there for a bit, but yeah, I think we're going up. So I just love this trade. I wish I even put it's like I'm so long, and like it just never feels like long enough, because like there's a point where I was looking at this like last week on the show we talked about how I had this realization that this move here wasn't like ETH weakness. This was an SMT for you trading nerds, higher high on ETH, while Bitcoin put in like a lower low, sign of tremendous strength in the ETH market. And ETH BTC has been, bottoming from a zone that, we had an episode a few weeks ago where I was like, we got to make a stand here. And we did make that stand. And I think this is the ETH BTC bottom. And then we're kind of getting the move I want to see in these zones, right? Where you get the sharp move down and then the sharp move back up. So this move down, couple fair value gaps, back up, fair value gap. So when I get this set up, when I have like this weekly zone where I'm expecting a bounce, this might even be like a monthly zone, and then you get that kind of formation on the daily, like I'm just like, okay, that's my signal.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say ETH goes to your magic line. What was that line at? 3,700 or something like that?
Yeah.
So let's say it goes there. At that point, do you trim there? Because like if Bitcoin, like to your point, has a decade-long bull run, then like ETH also does too. So like,
yeah, I mean, this level is just like, so I'll have times during the bull run where like I have like a spot position, right? But then I also have a trading account, so I may go short in the trading account and end up like hedged, or I may like go long in the trading account, like on top of the spot. Which is something I'm doing right now, because it's just so like at 3,600, like I'll probably be closing out those longs
in the trading account.
Yeah, because that's like a good swing, you know, and then probably looking for a setup to go to all-time highs.
And like your spot allocation is designed to just be set and forget hold for.
Yeah, that's like a cycle trade. There's going to come a point, hopefully, this cycle where I go like, all right, the relative value between stocks, real estate, crypto, it's not as obvious anymore. Like if you're sitting there like 200K Bitcoin, like even if the market still looks strong, if you've gotten to the point where 90% of your net worth is in Bitcoin, you go like, all right, if this asset is now more fairly valued, maybe it's a better time to sort of take profits and then buy stocks, buy real estate, still be in the market, but like it's not as obvious like of a risk reward on a relative basis
Yeah,
anymore.
I get that. Let's go back to the Amber example though, because like she's probably not going to be trading these levels the same way you are, and like this applies to people who are less active, right? So, like with that allocation, you just imagine holding it for 10 years. Is that kind of your plan?
I mean, Bitcoin, sure. I think you can hold Bitcoin forever. You could probably hold ETH forever. Probably the only two things I would just go into a coma over. But like, I don't think you have to worry about that. Like, even if you're only worrying about this shit like every 4 years, it's fine. Like, there's no need to be like, oh, what can I do for 30 years or something. Just once every 4 years, I think is okay to think about this stuff, and you can.
Well, I think the reason why I ask is because like when you're dealing with like high level portfolio allocations, what tends to happen, it's like say that you told Amber like a 20% allocation originally to Bitcoin is like it's like a good level, right? And then Bitcoin price appreciates, and that thing becomes an outsized position in your portfolio from then on. And I think this is like a problem that I see sort of like advisor wide, like people in my shoes, where like you get this position that grows to an outsized allocation, and then I guess like your natural instinct is to decrease that allocation. And I don't think that actually is right. I think that's like the take I'm going to set here. It's like, I think my average buy price on NVIDIA is like $24. That's like my cost basis. Mm-hmm. And like it grew to a size that was fucking enormous in my portfolio, and I trimmed some at 330, and I'm like, well, why the fuck did I do that? Like I think that's a problem that anybody holding Bitcoin at 20% initial allocation is going to find themselves in.
Yeah, like I agree and disagree with that. So like I very much disagree with this idea that like I want 20% of my portfolio to be Bitcoin. So portfolio is 20% Bitcoin, and then like anytime it goes above like 25%, you sell it all down so that it goes back to 20. Like I think that's dumb. Like you're just always like selling your winners to buy losers. Like if you do that, which isn't good, right? But if you want like say 20% in ETH, and ETH goes up so much that it ends up that like 93% of your net worth is in ETH, I think you're taking on like an unnecessary risk at that point. Like especially if you've like ascended into like a higher tier of wealth, and you just sort of like to prioritize like remaining in that tier.
If you made like life-changing money.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine to cut it in that instance. So I would say it depends on the degree.
I mean, at what point have you identified the level for yourself, like where you kind of exit these high vol assets where you've reached this tier? Maybe there's the highest tier where you're just like, I just sit pretty in my land or whatever.
Not really. It's for me, it's like it's more of a relative thing, like I was saying earlier. Like I don't want to be overweight crypto if it's on a relative kind of risk adjusted basis, like not as attractive of like a say 3 to 4 year investment to me as just like sitting in real estate or stocks or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like at some point Bitcoin turns into like a low vol asset because it's had enough institutional adoption or whatever, and or
it's still a high vol asset, but it's just been bid up to a point where you're like, do I really want to own this instead of the NASDAQ, or do I really want to have like 10 times the allocation to this that I have to the NASDAQ? There's a price where that's not attractive, and if you're kind of sitting on cap gains and like it's I think it's interesting, but we'll cross that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I just noticed on the ETH chart here on the 3 month, look at that, a little inversion fair value gap. Perfect retest, go.
So we dipped right back into your rectangle there.
Yeah, these are I use these a lot when day trading actually, but they're really interesting signals. So like when you get this gap down, it's sort of like a signal that there's like immense sell pressure to go lower. It's going towards some sort of target. When price starts closing above that, that's like an indication that okay, like we want to go higher. And like if you look at this, think of this as like 1 minute candles. I'm like, well, that's like an obvious target there. Just the high of that one little candle, but that's our 3600 high right there.
Oh man.
So sometimes like this is something I do a lot when I get confused. I just zoom out so that I have fewer candles. Like the shit works the same on like yearly, monthly time frames as it does on 1 minute charts, and like trading like, 7 candles like in your chart is a lot easier than trading like 400 candles. It just kind of condenses stuff, and you just start thinking about things as ranges. Like this giant mega move, right? Like this candle is just one big range, and price tends to go from the bottom of a range to the top of that range, and then it may break out, but often it'll go, take the high and come back in. But like it's just a range trade.
No,
but in this instance, that one little range trade, like if you saw this gap and you're like a swing trader, like that's a hell of a trade, right? Like if you enter in that gap, that's like 66% return. It's like a trade that you might be holding over the course of months, because this is a 3-month chart, like maybe even like over a year.
So a 3-month chart is kind of compelling to me because it makes it feel like for dummies in a way. This is cool.
Yeah.
And also like what I'm thinking is like ETHE, the stock, Grayscale, ETH is like probably trading within that rectangle now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, probably. I'd be curious, actually. Maybe I should look at it. But yeah, it's funny. Like when I just look at this chart, like it's like interesting to just look at a 3-month chart. Like if I was trading this as a minute chart, right? I would just look at this and be like, okay, well, this entire down move is basically like the zone that gave you a fair value gap that put in this like high, right? So when you retrace into that zone, this is we call this like a mitigation block overlapping with this gap. Like you're expecting price to bounce there, and at a minimum, probably retest this wick. That's a hell of a trade. Like if you got in, look at that. I mean, look at the mid range of the zone. It's basically like the bottom.
Yep.
It's like very clean, and that's like it's a 280% move up to the wick, right? But realistically speaking, like I'm zooming way out on this chart and being like, well, this is just accumulation, a impulse leg up, retrace, and then this is a new high, and then this is going to go to who knows.
So when you look at the new highs, for instance, I've seen you at times use like standard deviations. Like, is that something you would use in this case to see like how high we could pump on if this were to like go?
I don't see a setup for that here, where I could do it with a straight face and tell you that it was predictive.
Mm-hmm.
But there are situations on the high time, like I called this out on Bitcoin a long time ago, like for the whole year, right? Like we talked about this many months ago on this show Alfalfa on my channel back when I was like a psychopath and thought I wanted to have a third podcast, which was a terrible idea. But yeah, we talked a lot about like accumulation, manipulation, and expansion/distribution, right? And how like I had this trade set up forever where, this candle here is your manipulation leg. We're talking about like the FTX candle down for people who can't really see this, and how you target, something in the 4 standard deviation range. Well, what is within that range is this high, this monthly high, right? So you can see that move, accumulate, manipulate, expand all the way up to that monthly high, and that's when we got the pullback. So that traded pretty cleanly. And like Bitcoin, because it's like a more institutional asset, like these sort of like fib extensions like actually work on it.
Trades cleaner.
Yeah, like this isn't gonna work on like a SUI chart or something, but it'll work. It works on like stocks. It works on like indexes. It works on oil. It works on gold. It works on Bitcoin. From my back testing, ETH is I don't know. I don't consider it to be like a super strong signal in ETH, but I think when we have ETH ETFs, I expect it to behave like all the other stuff as well. So
we're getting awfully close to sort of like pullback zone. It looks like by this drawing.
Yeah, I don't know though. I just think like assuming that capo's wrong, right? This is just a giant reaccumulation we just went through, right? We didn't go through this giant reaccumulation I think it's just a quick one, and then we didn't do that to not go to all-time highs in my opinion. Knock on. I don't have any wood to knock on, so somebody do it for me.
I'll do it. I got it.
Tap on wood. Yeah. Noah is asking, remind us how the dollar level works with respect to asset prices. So risk assets tend to be inversely correlated with the dollar, Noah. So if you were to chart Bitcoin versus like 1 over the dollar.
Do it real quick because it's pretty fucking.
It's going to be funny when I throw this up and it doesn't work at all.
No, I think it's going to work perfectly.
Let's throw this up here. Where's my dollar chart? Oh, I put the wrong thing up. Damn it. I love when chat gets to watch how like bad I am at TradingView. It's just like so humiliating. 1 divided by DXY. New price scale. Look at that. We did it. It's interesting. It's actually kind of like time shifted almost.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah.
No way. Oh, you did the inverse. Okay.
Yeah, but it's time shifted. So you can see, but it's basically like uptrend, Bitcoin spikes. And as the dollar collapses, Bitcoin collapses soon thereafter, you know? So, and then like most recently, you can kind of see that spike down. And if you, like if you trade stocks, right? Like one of the things people check every morning is like the DXY. Like if the DXY is spiking, people are expecting the markets to trade with like an inverse correlation. It's kind of shift you to like a bearish bias, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get rid of all this and delete this here. Ollie, do you think Uni will send it? So Ollie, you were saying that like Uni's not doing anything, which I don't know what chart you're looking at, man. Uni was up 8% today, wasn't it?
Uni's pumping.
Yeah, we talked about Uniswap in the last episode. I was like, man, this thing looks primed. Looks freaking primed. It's had a very long accumulation bottom and some signs that it's kind of ready to move. Yeah, we had a nice daily candle today.
That accumulation bottom was over like years, right?
Yeah, we've been going sideways for 663 days. And I was saying last week, like, man, this looks like such a good risk reward trade because, I mean, I have to like pull up a log chart for this thing. It's so down. It's down so bad. But I was like, look, even if your stop was there last week, you know, you're 38% down, yeah, that sucks. But from like a risk reward perspective, this thing is going to, you know, even this high, 470% to the upside for 30% down. I don't know. Like, it looked like a really good trade. It's definitely one of these sectors that people have kind of forgotten about for so long.
I think that's part of it. Like
Dino DeFi.
But it is like the best protocol in all of crypto.
Yeah.
There's value to that.
Yeah, I especially think like at some point the TradFi world is going to walk in and be like, wait a minute. How much money does this thing do? with how much overhead? Like what?
So I was looking at cryptofees.info this morning, and Uniswap is trading at 5 times sales. 5 times sales, dude. That's like what fucking Johnson & Johnson trades at or something.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean the market's just completely
it's forgotten about.
Given up or forgotten about it. But somebody's been buying it. Somebody has been buying it for sure. Yeah, this looks really interesting on the monthly. Actually, like you remove a lot of the noise, and dude, this Mac is driving me nuts with the back command. All right, because yeah, we have our little signal here. We got a sharp move down, sharp move up, fair value gap down, fair value gap up after a long accumulation. You definitely say that's a manipulation leg. I think on like a monthly time frame, this thing here. So if that's the case, then this thing's ready to go. And if you hop on board now, you know.
So you don't wait for a drop back into that fair value gap.
Well, look, I mean, look what we already did. Like if you kind of look at what happened here, like this is a monthly gap. We actually tapped that gap with the January candle. You see that there?
Yeah, this could be like a Coinbase situation.
So this is what you have, like these gap. Like oftentimes you put in this gap and then price kind of taps it, but then if it's like a strong move, it just goes.
Yeah.
So this entire January range is probably going to end up as like as a monthly order block, and then you're probably going to get, I think, a bunch of expansion candles to the upside from here. Like I think you're just going to go whoop. So yeah, like I said, I bought a little more of this. I bought a little teaser bag of it a while ago because I was looking at this like thing just going sideways. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hate myself at some point if I don't have like a small amount, and then I want to like remember to look at it. But yeah, it looks like a good trade right now. Looks strong. Anyway, we'll see where that we'll see where that pans out in the coming weeks. All right, what else do I have on my list here? Here, take me off the charts for a second. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I've been toying around with Dimension.
What's that?
DYM. So it's basically like a chain to deploy roll apps. Somebody in the chat can probably tell me if this is like a totally stupid thing, but the narrative's cool, and this is mostly a kill myself insurance right now because I used to own a lot of penguins, like many penguins, and I think so. This coin airdrop to Pudgy Penguin holders. I think an airdrop is worth like 20K now per penguin.
No way.
I think so.
As if penguins needed any more fucking money.
Yeah, somebody in the chat correct me if that's wrong. But yeah, penguins are eating right now. They're eating good. So, yeah, I texted a buddy today who has a penguin, and I was like, "You claim the DYM airdrop, right?" And he's like, "What? What's that?" And I
Damn.
was like, oh no, because I'm pretty sure you can't claim
like
it anymore.
Like a window closed.
I was like, bro, that was a free 20K.
Ooh.
Rip. But yeah, I've been like kind of accumulating in this zone here because we had a nice little breakout from this accumulation range. So I think anything kind of in this 7 to 750 range where we are right now, I think is kind of like an interesting buy. Gonna cut that and look for a different spot if we lose 686 or so probably. But yeah, I think this thing has got some legarinos to pump for sure. So long that. I've been long Sui. I've been long Say. Say has been turbo sending.
Damn.
Yeah, chart kind of just looks like what Solana did, to be honest. So probably some more upside. I don't know if this is going to be like a whole cycle hold for me. I think Sui and Say have been interesting things to have in your portfolio if you're an ETH holder because they're kind of like a hedge in a way. Sui also has been incredibly strong coin, just straight up only. One of our Discord members who shall remain nameless will tip me off to it, and I bought a bag. So thank you, sir. You know who you are. Edmund saying DYM $20 easy. Yeah. I think it's probably going to $80, honestly. It's like it's going to max airdrop pain, you know. It's going to 200K airdrop per Pudgy Penguin. That's probably where we end up.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's been interesting looking at some of the ETH ecosystem stuff. Like Blur has been doing very, very well. Blur, good coin. We've been long Blur, been enjoying Blur.
I like this one. I got this one.
Yeah, so Blur to me looks like it wants much higher. We got good things on the horizon. Blast.
Yeah, when's Blast gonna launch?
When Blast? So they were saying February, so money would be, unlocked for withdrawals. It's February 15th, so we'll see when that pans out. But I still just love Blur as like a cycle hold. It's one of my most bullish kind of bags that I have in terms of spot coins.
God, imagine like NFTs come back round. You know, like if we're right about this bull market, then like, you know, everybody's making money on the coins, and then NFTs come back around. Blur is just going to fucking send.
Edmund's been shilling Cosmos ecosystem forever. It's true. I beat on this poor man in Discord about his stupid Atom coins.
No doubt.
During the bear.
No doubt.
Because it was
diamond handed the shit out of this.
Yeah, that's Rectum there. Kudos to you, Rectum, for your unwavering loyalty to the Atom ecosystem. I love it. The other trade I've had my eyes on, but like I haven't really pulled the trigger. Like I have spot L2 stuff, but so Optimism, Arbitrum have been a little weak lately relative to ETH. I think that's just because of how good of a trade ETH is right now. The yield you're getting from holding ETH, like this, like ARB ETH chart looks kind of bad to me. So
yeah, but in dollar terms, they've been pretty solid. I mean,
yeah, but I'm basically like, okay, I'm like really bullish on ETH. Do I hold ETH or do I go like full L2? And I don't really see that right now. I kind of got my eyes on Arbitrum. There's like a monthly fair value gap on the ratio here, so maybe 0.63 or something. That's not like a huge dip from here, but that's like 12% lower maybe. But this becomes an interesting zone, I think, to kind of like rotate. So if ETH pumps at 3,600, it's March or April or May, and like airdrops are happening, and everybody's super pumped, and Arbitrum is down here. Could be an interesting rotation play. I think if you're super active. If you're not, just whatever, man, sit on your hands.
Or just hold ETH, like that's fine.
And print, yeah, just hold ETH. OP chart is just kind of just straight up and straight down versus ETH. A little trickier to get a handle on it, but I think you still have a similar setup where you have this monthly gap here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we give that gap a little tap. It's another 15-20% lower, so nothing crazy there.
Tap the gap.
Yeah, both of these charts kind of look like they want lower versus ETH. So I'm heavy ETH. Blur looks good. Pendle has looked really, really strong. It's been kind of hopefully consolidating lately, but I'm keeping an eye on this. This is definitely one of those charts I think that could just dump in a very big hurry. I've actually been taking some profits on this. Like whenever you build up all this trend line liquidity and kind of go up only,
kind of looks like it's losing steam here.
Yeah, and then like when this thing dumps, man, it just takes all of these lows very fast, right? And it could go higher, but man, like if this thing like nukes to $1.50 or something, that's a bad sell-off. Yeah. Even if it just runs a few of those lows, you're talking about maybe losing 30, 40, 50% in the blink of an eye. So I have no more leverage on Pendle. We closed that out around like 310 or so. Still riding some spot, like it still pays a pretty good yield, but like I do think there's going to be a point this spring where this kind of restaking thing hits like a fever pitch, and yeah, everybody just kind of starts dumping this coin. I'm in a weird spot because I'm almost in cap gains on it because I bought it so long ago.
Damn.
But like, I bought it like I'm probably like in the 20s on my average buy, maybe 30s, so it's up like a pretty penny. But I'm definitely watching it like a hawk. What else did I do? Oh, I bought Doge a few days ago.
Stop it.
I bought Doge.
Yeah. Oh my God. It comes on the screen. For that reason, I'm in.
Bro, I didn't know that happened. Wait, did anybody see that?
That's incredible.
Okay, so when you pull up the Doge chart, you get a little dancing Doge. That's cool. Dude, I just pulled this up at home. I did not see that. That's amazing. What a random Easter egg. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. This thing looks pretty prime to me, man. I think Doge to dollar happens. I think we finally hit the fabled land. I don't think this thing is dead. Yeah, we formed a nice little, was that like a quadruple bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we've been getting a nice move up. So yeah,
what is this thing at? 7 cents or something? 8 cents?
8.6 cents now. And if we kind of zoom out here, you can see this zone we've been in, right? This is basically just, this is the order block that gave us that massive pump in 2021. So we've been holding that zone, accumulating in that zone. This has been going sideways for a while. This has been going sideways basically for 600 or so days.
This is Uniswap chart.
Yeah, Uniswap chart, but with like way more mental illness. So, yeah, I think every portfolio needs just a little bit of the memes, the high quality memes. Pepe's been doing very well too. I don't really have any Pepe anymore, but I do have Doge. I do have a little bit of the dog with the hat, and I think the last thing I will close out with here, unless anybody has something they really want to look at, is the dumb shit I bought today. And once again, I'd like to stress that this is dumb.
It's so real
so
shit
don't buy
coin.
it.
It's a real shit coin.
No, I was looking at AI stuff and like debating whether I should buy a Bit Tensor or not, and I was like, oh wait a minute, like I can buy a coin on Solana. So I bought this coin, Dith.
You bought Dith,
which has a 22 million market cap and 175K in liquidity. You know,
well, it was a 15 million market cap when you mentioned it an hour ago.
Yeah, it was 15 million when I walked in. So it's been I think I probably just moved the market up, I guess, buying it. But yeah, it looks interesting to me. It's basically like ChatGPT on the Solana blockchain, but like I think the shtick is it's going to turn into a Telegram bot that automatically trades meme coins for you using AI.
You shouldn't even talk like this.
Look,
it's just so worthless.
Look, we talk about serious stuff on the show. We talk about dumb shit on the show. I don't know, man.
Yeah, just look at the chart.
Looks pretty bullish.
Chart looks rad.
Looks pretty good. So yeah, I bought some. If you guys want to lose all your money with me, this is not as high conviction as my generational Bitcoin buy play, but I know you guys like to see the see the dumb shit I do occasionally. So yeah, take a look at it. See if it's worth your money. Probably isn't. Probably stupid. I'm pretty sure Eric's not going to buy any.
I don't buy shit like this, but I love when you just YOLO into like crap that you don't know anything about.
I already wish I bought more. The nice thing about Jupiter on Solana is that you can do the DCA. So I've just been kind of like DCAing it. I got like a hybrid. I did my thing where I spot buy some just so if it pumps, I don't kill myself. And then I set limit orders at areas where if it like mega dumps, I want to buy some more. And then I also set like a DCA for like when price is under a specific level, and then kind of built the position that way.
It's
so
pretty nice.
Yeah, it's really nice for trading the Dogcraft coins. It's a very very luxurious setup you got there on Solana. So kudos to the Jupiter guys for a good product. Yeah, so check. What was it? Dith? Is it Dith.io? I don't even know what the website for this thing is. Does it have a website?
Doesn't have a
website,
dude.
It's on Twitter. Oh yeah, there's a website. Dither. Dith.ai. Dither is a multifaceted experiment which leverages the Solana ecosystem to build the world's most powerful AI time series models for trading.
Amazing.
Wow. Just revolution.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to become a billionaire off this.
All in. All in. It's got a ELI 5 on the website though, if you don't like to read stuff. Yeah, Telegram trading bot with AI.
Perfect.
We got narratives on narratives on narratives on narratives here. We're just doing like narrative inception. So many narratives. Look, it's crypto. You got to have a little fun. You got to play some lotto tickets. You know,
really
most of them don't work out. The vast majority don't work out. But man, it feels good when you hit that one.
Of course,
it just feels really really good. But yeah, guys, be safe with your money. Don't put 10% of your portfolio in this, please. Buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum. Anyway, thanks guys. It's been a super fun episode for you. Everything's pumping. We're feeling good. Looking forward to seeing what coin opens up at tomorrow when most of you hear this episode.
Hopefully, oh my gosh, 200s.
Hopefully 200s incoming. Yeah. The whole street talking about crypto. Buying coin, FOMOing into Bitcoin, pumping our bags. It's going to be a great year, everybody. I feel awesome. I hope you're having fun. Hope most of you guys are long and strong. If you are not long currently, just dip your toes in, man. Just no time like the present to just to just buy a little nibble. At least get rid of some of the crippling FOMO.
30%, you said. I like that.
30%, keep some cash, buy some dips. If the dips don't come, well, I guess you just went up only on your investment, and you'll have to live with that. But yeah, it's gonna get really it's gonna be really awkward if Bitcoin's like 110K and you still don't own any. You're gonna be like,
God, imagine people
can't buy it now.
Imagine the people who watch this show and aren't fucking invested. Like,
yeah, if you've been following me or listening to this show or the Alfalfa podcast for the last 2 years and you aren't already irresponsibly long, I don't know what to say. I feel like I haven't done my job.
Yeah,
I feel like my non-financial advice has been pretty good for a while. So hopefully a lot of you in the audience are eating well right now. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us live. We had 40 of you in here, which is pretty.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool that we're already getting that many people joining us and in the chat. If you have not already, please give the video a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, and check out the Alfalfa Discord. Links at alfalfapod.com. Alfalfa Discord is where we're talking about the coins, the airdrop farming, the NFTs, and then also having some deep conversations on life. And we got Marty in there throwing conspiracy theories in the politics channel, all sorts of shit going on for you intellectuals and pseudo intellectuals alike. But yeah, we'll be back again next week, 5 p.m. Pacific time, with hopefully 70K Bitcoin, $5,000 Ether, $300 coin. It's gonna be a hell of a week, boys.
Later, everybody.
That's right. I'm gonna go home and short everything now. Later, everyone. I'll see you next time.
Adios.